Hi everyone, it's Allison from Fathom 5 Tarot, and I just thought I'd jump on here really quickly and do a short video about tarot card perspectives. It's something I've been thinking about a little while because a prompt came up in Ethne's 31 Days of Tarot challenge. And I did that challenge where I made a video for every 3 or 4 prompts. I didn't answer all the prompts just because I didn't have something to say for each of them. But this one sort of stopped me in my tracks because the question was about your stalker card for 2019. And I did have a stalker card for 2019, but I didn't really think about it until I went back and looked at my journals. Like I just didn't notice it. And it was the Six of Swords. And today for this video, I should say that I'm going to be using the Tarot of A.E. Waite. It's a lovely Rider-Waite-Smith version. It's the one with the crackle backs. I find the line work really fine. I did a video about the staged tarot cards, and I wish I had used this deck because it's so clear. I don't know if I've got any of the stages up right now. Oh, I do. I'll try and point it out when it comes. But it's so clear, the staged tarot cards in this deck. So I'll link that video in case you're interested, because I'm also really interested in that topic. But when this came up, I was like, huh, why would that have been my stalker card? Because I have had some rough years, and but I feel like I already moved into sort of calmer waters. I'd made that journey myself. And so I was like, that just doesn't seem to really to fit for 2019. But then it occurred to me that maybe I'm not seated in the boat. Maybe I'm the rower. And in all my time and looking at this card, I had never really thought about that. And that I certainly, that really resonates to me when I think about helping someone else through their rough waters for the year. It really resonated with me. It just had never occurred to me to think of myself in the position of the rower. And then that got me thinking, well, what other cards maybe have I overlooked in that way? And so I thought today I would just talk about a few of the cards in the Waite-Smith deck, and just maybe it would spark something for you. Maybe I'm the only one who's only looked at myself in one way or the other. And I know sometimes these cards aren't even like depictions of you in your situation. It's more metaphorical, it's more holistic. But I thought it was an interesting exercise. So really, again, the Six of Swords is what prompted me on this, because as soon as I envisioned myself as this rower, this paddler, this gondolier, if you will, it did really make all kinds of sense to me. So I just pulled out a few others, and I decided to keep it to the minor arcana, just because that's sort of more the everyday, mundane. I feel like the major arcana for me, are just more metaphorical anyway, in sort of larger outside of myself. So whatever, that's what I did. um, so here we go. So the Three of Pentacles. There are 3 people depicted in that card. 2 planning and advising, and 1 doing. And I just, when that card comes up, I'm just going to take a little bit more time now to think about the different roles in that card and what that card might mean outside of sort of, I think, the general meaning of sort of design and putting things together and thinking things through. And so that's super interesting. The Six of Cups. That again, this card has always sort of evoked childhood, nostalgia, warm feelings, comfort to me. But there is a definite giver and a receiver in this card. And I haven't really broken it down. And actually, there's somebody in the background as well. Almost looks like a sentry, just sort of keeping somebody safe. Can you see him there off to the... Sorry, I'm no good at doing things in reverse, which I have to do on my laptop. So just, again, looking at the various presents of the card and thinking about different approaches, different perspectives, the title of this video. One of the things I find interesting about the Ten of Pentacles, and again, I tend to look at this one pretty holistically, but there are 3 people in it, and only 1 is fully facing forward. So again, I've tended to look at this as a collective, but maybe there's a time when it comes up where I want to consider myself in the actual roles of one or the other. This one is also quite, oh, this is a great example of a staged card. Can you see how it looks like there's a stage and a backdrop specifically because of the line there? There's a number of staged cards. I think Pamela Coleman did stage design as part of her artistry, and so I find it really interesting which cards are staged and which aren't. Again, I'll link that video. I'll try to remember to do it right now. My finger's up so that you can actually click to that if you're interested. But there are 3 quite different perspectives in this card, and while I've tended to look at it holistically, it might be worth thinking, like, am I taking advantage of some situation that I shouldn't be? Am I off and small and hurt by something that's happening? Should I delineate myself more to one character or another? This is, oh God, this is such a sad card. It hurts my heart, this one. The idea of being on the outside, but the perspective of the card is that you are looking in on this situation. So is there, from that perspective, when I think about it, is not just this is a situation of feeling sort of outside and cold and in some way spiritually impoverished. But if I'm taking it from the perspective that I'm on the outside looking in towards these people outside of another place, is there some action that I can take? Is this enough to observe, or do I have to become active in changing this situation for somebody? And actually, there's a very similar feel to the Six of Pentacles for similar reasons, obviously. Is it bestowing? Is it receiving? I'm never quite sure what to make of this card. And the bestowing to one and not the other while holding the scales. I think it can be seen as a very positive card, but it could also be pretty sad for, see, I did it again, for this dude here, who's not getting the attention or the coins, but just the scales, the weighted scales. So interesting if you put yourself into the feet of any one of those 3 characters. The 6, lots of 6s in here. I'm just noticing 6s and 4s are interesting. They seem to have a lot of people in them. So I've always thought of myself as the triumphant horseback person, if I'm going to apply it to my own life, and this sort of laurel of celebration that's up on the wand, but maybe I'm a supporter in the background. There are 2 supporters, or actually 3. If you look just beyond the horse's neck there, you can see sort of another head popping through there. But maybe this isn't my glory to take. This is something to celebrate from somebody else, that I'm on the ground and someone else is on the horse. So that's interesting. And finally, the last one. This is also potentially a staged card, although this one is weird, because if that is staged, it means those people are painted on the backdrop, and then the wands are the set pieces, right, for other actors to walk through. I find this one of the most interesting staged cards. But again, am I being greeted here walking through the wands? Am I outside of the card and walking in? Am I a celebrator, right, welcoming somebody else home? I think just to consider the different perspectives. And then there's a big crowd of people in the back. So maybe that could even delineate the amount of time it's going to take, maybe, for this thing to come to fruition if you're still in the back of the card. So that was just some examples of things that I thought of. I mean, obviously we've got multiple people in the tower, although they are in the same position, sort of. Although I was even thinking about the tower card and how it looks definitely like the one whose back is to the tower that's been an accidental fall, whereas the one that's facing forward looks more sort of like a deliberate plunge. I don't know. It was just a really interesting exercise. And again, I think the one that speaks to me most is the one that brought me to the party, this 6 of Wands here, that I just never thought of myself as the paddler before that. So I don't know. What do you think? Did I miss some? Should I have included the major arcana? Again, I didn't pull out everyone with multiple people, but just the ones I thought might be a little bit of food for thought. So I hope you enjoyed my little video, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. And I hope you're having a great week, and I'll jump on again later to do something else. Have a great night.